Time now is 12 o'clock on this very cold Wednesday afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Now that it is noon, we've seen those extreme cold warnings come to an end. The cold weather advisories also expiring around the tri-state, but we have more being issued right now. We'll get to that here in just a second. I mean, look at this, 12 degrees. Very cold outside. We have winds out of the west of around 14 miles an hour sustained, which means these gusts at times in the afternoon maybe around 20 miles an hour, but it's not helping at all. It feels like -3 outside. With the sun sticking around, it's going to help melt things just a little bit, but of course the temperatures are really what we need to warm up, which we're not going to see anytime soon. This morning, those wind chills were as low as 15 degrees below zero, and of course we're not seeing a much improvement in the afternoon, but again, highs today are going to be in the teens. At least we're not below zero anymore. And then Thursday morning, we go right back into that dangerous range for the wind chills. Again, anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees below zero. Also have a little bit of freezing fog to give you that first alert too. We'll unpack what that means, what that looks like, and the potential dangers that do come with it. But right now, our big concern is going to be the cold, which we've been forecasting this for a long time. We have several first alert weather days in place. It's every morning through Sunday morning, so that's tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's because wind chills are going to be anywhere between 5 to 25 degrees below zero. That will make for at least 13 consecutive days below 32 degrees if everything verifies. We've been in the freezer since Friday, January 23rd, so a little less than a week ago, we entered the freezer, and we're going to stay in the freezer all the way through a Wednesday of next week. So 6 plus 7, that would be about 13. Again, these winds are going to be noticeable and really just making things feel a whole lot worse outside. We got these winds already gusting up to about 20 to 22 being reported there in Lebanon, 21 in Middletown. The direction, not helping at all, but at least is not from the north. It's from the west a little bit more. But again, it's making these already cold temperatures feel even colder at times. These wind chills, which are the number to the right of the dash that you see there. Most of them are below zero still with temperatures. I mean, we still have Wilmington and Batesville with air temperatures at 9 degrees right now. Same thing with Middletown. Our warmer spots are seen south of the Ohio River. We've got 18 in Falmouth, 17 there in Maysville, Vevey at 14, Owenton at 14, but guys, it's still bitterly cold and dangerously cold too if you're outside for long periods of time. But thankfully, our radar image is very quiet. Even our satellite image is very quiet. So not only are the clear skies providing that sun that's going to help melt things a little bit, maybe the other side of the coin, not so great side of the coin, is that we're going to allow some fog to develop overnight as the winds start to die down. And then also, because it's so cold, anything that does melt will just refreeze. So that includes any of the slushy stuff kind of going about the tri-state right now. So feels like temperatures, I mean, not just for us, but for much of the Great Lakes region, just north of us, are in the below zero range. Not as cold as Thunder Bay, but hey, we are still watching out for the potential for very bitter wind chills through the end of the week. And while we do have a little bit less concern in the way of cold weather advisories, I mean, look at this. This is the updated map that I have for you guys. Not everyone is under that cold weather advisory anymore, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get the cold. They only issue advisories and warnings once the forecast reaches a certain criteria. In this case, they're forecasting around -10 degree wind chills for everywhere that you see there in the blue. So Fayette, Union, Butler, Hamilton, Warren, Claremont, Brown, Clinton, Highland, and Adams counties. Nobody in northern Kentucky under this cold weather advisory, which starts tonight at 7 o'clock. It will continue through 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Again, wind chills are going to be anywhere from about -5 to -15, right around that -10 point, which, of course, if you're outside for too long, you'll develop frostbite. Consider checking in on your neighbors, especially the elderly, making sure that people have what they need because, I mean, we're used to it at this point, just how cold it is, how cold it will continue to be all the way through the middle part of next week. But as much as we're talking about the cold, we need to talk about the dangers that come with the cold besides the cold, which is going to be the snow, which is going to be the ice, but also we have a hidden one in the potential for some freezing fog. And I don't know if you saw it this morning. I saw it on my drive into work this morning. What happens when freezing fog develops? And what happens is it looks like fog. However, anything that's kind of in the fog, so trees, cars, roads, the water droplets in the fog will actually freeze upon contact with anything that is also below freezing, which of course we've been freezing for so many days, and so that's going to be everything except for a fire at this point. So water droplets in the air, suspended in the air, the fog will freeze upon contact with anything at this point. So that will create for icy and slick conditions on the roads. You'll notice ice on the cars. You'll notice ice on the trees. That's what I noticed this morning. That's how I was like, oh, okay, so freezing fog. We definitely saw it last night. We had plenty of issues out there on the roads this morning. I am aware of that too, as far as if it's due to freezing fog versus just the snow that we had moving through versus just typical traffic stuff. I don't really know about that. But freezing fog in and of itself can be a hazard. And of course, we're still seeing that. It depends on the winds and how quickly they are able to die down. But this model picking up on some dense fog in spots, reduced visibility in others. So not to mention it creates slick surfaces, but also it's fog, so you can't see as well through it. But then as we work into your afternoon, things will start to develop a little bit more on the sunny side. That's the good news for Thursday afternoon. And for much of the rest of our streak of first alert weather days, these are mainly just going to be in the mornings, because once we get in the afternoons, those wind chills will improve as well, at least be on the positive side of things. Let's talk about how much sun we're going to see, which we're seeing a good amount of it now. We'll continue to see a good amount of it throughout the rest of your afternoon until the sun sets. But reminder, clear skies, not a great recipe when you have got a thick snowpack on the ground, because yeah, I mean, you saw it kind of flare up a second ago. I'm going to show you again. Watch what happens between midnight and 4. Yeah, those aren't clouds. I mean, that's fog developing in spots. So especially around the waterways, around grassy areas. I saw it at the Lunken Airport. Things like that is really just where we see the most fog in general, which includes freezing fog too. We're going to hang on to that fog all the way until we're able to warm up, which going to be a pretty slow process, as we saw this morning and have seen for the last few days. So freezing fog just going to be a concern. I don't think everyone sees it, but those of us that do, of course, will see just a little bit of extra concern out there on the roads. Hey, I got some good news for you guys, and we've been talking about this for the last couple of days, because while we're talking about the cold, we're at least not talking about the active snow, but we do have just a couple of opportunities here and there to put quite literally on your radar. Maybe a couple snowflakes for Friday. You saw that at about a 20%, that's it. And then our next chance, you see it right there, isn't going to be until this upcoming Monday. But notice it kind of loses steam as it approaches the tri-state. So certainly not as substantial as what we were tracking just a few days ago, but it will be enough to say it happened, a fresh little coat of snow. And then as we roll into the middle part of next week, watching out for another system, it's going to be pulling on in some snowflakes for Wednesday of next week. But usually when we have some active weather coming back into the tri-state, we usually get a nice breeze from the southwest, and hopefully that's going to be enough to get us out of the freezer. But it's not looking likely. In fact, in our forecast, if you include the last several days that we've been below freezing and you add in our forecast, that will make for 13 consecutive days below freezing, which, believe it or not, is not on the leaderboard. It's not even in the top 12 longest freezing streaks. And to put it in perspective here, folks, the longest that we've been below freezing, so this isn't at or below freezing, it's below freezing. The highest, 21 days. That's 3 weeks straight, and that was in February of 1966. Our most recent longest freezing streak was in 2007 in February, 15. And if we were to have 13 consecutive days, so if our forecast were to verify, then we would see 13 consecutive. That would put us at 14th, tied for 14th. So top 15, it's a long time to be below freezing, and it's a long time to have the impacts that come with it, which includes dangerously cold mornings. The snow is going to stick around. You've got freezing fog. I mean, winter really is in full force here in this first alert extended forecast, which includes five more first alert weather days, 4 more if you don't include today. Cold weather advisory today has expired, but another one starts tonight at 7 o'clock, and it's because temperatures are going to be dipping below zero once again, with winds calmer compared to the last couple of mornings. We're seeing wind chills just about 10 degrees below zero. However, while it's not going to be as cold, I mean, it'll still be cold, it's just not as cold, we have the concern of freezing fog again. Take with that what you will. Thursday afternoon, even colder than today, 14, your forecast high, partly cloudy skies. We're going to hang on to kind of an interval between sun and clouds all the way through Sunday up until Monday, our next chance for some snow, which is going to be on Groundhog Day. But you might actually notice a little bit more warmth coming back. I mean, it's not going to be great. It'll still be in the 20s next week, but at least we're on the positive side of things, especially when it comes to those mornings. Just be mindful of some accumulating snow as we work into Monday of next week, hanging on to just a light chance for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But again, we've been in the freezer since this last Friday, the 23rd. We'll be in it until Wednesday. I believe that's the 4th of February, and so that's 13 consecutive days below freezing. And of course, we'll let you guys know if anything changes coming on in within the next few days. But yeah, that's 7 to 10 day forecast. Depending on if there's any big changes in that snowfall, we could see those temperatures go up a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we have any questions. JD's asking the weather for Canton. It's going to be cold. Mark, do you know what penguins like to eat? They look hungry out in my yard. Hopefully you have some shrimp out there. I believe they like shrimp or like little fish, something like that. JD sees the sun. That's good. Melvin saying, when is the snow going to melt? Sorry. Not anytime soon. It just makes me kind of laugh because I wish the snow were going to melt a lot sooner, but we really stressed the importance of this snowstorm this last weekend, not just because we saw a lot of snow all at once, but we saw the days after it and we saw the cold after it. And so we're like, guys, all this snow that you see, it's going to stay put until you move it. I'm still seeing cars driving around with probably about half of a foot of snow and ice on top of it, which please scrape that off your cars. You're scaring me and everyone around you. But yeah, snow's not going anywhere anytime soon unless you move it. It's not, and we're not going to get close to the freezing point until a week from today. And Melvin's asking me to say hi to Rob. I will, absolutely. I will also say hi to Rob. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for you guys right now at 12:13 this Wednesday morning. We'll have the latest information for you guys about just how cold it's going to be because, of course, we've kind of entered the territory to where you don't really care what kind of cold we're seeing. You just know that it is cold. But we'll, of course, have that latest information for you guys, plus have that latest information for you guys about the chance for snow next week because it does kind of look like things are going to turn back into a little bit more of an active pattern. We'll have that for you guys this afternoon on Fox 19 now at 3 o'clock. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.